Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome again to another event in the MC Motorsport Toyota 86 Cup. We find ourselves here this evening at Oran Park for round 3 of this Toyota 86 single make series. This action all being brought to you today live and exclusive by Simple Racing Broadcasts. It's Broadcasts Made Simple. Great to have you all back again this week. And would you believe I'm not actually alone in the booth for a change, which is really nice. I'm feeling the love tonight. I'm joined tonight by our friends Dean and Hayden. Boys, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, glad to be in the booth with you. You don't have to talk to yourself, so.
It's a nice change. It's a nice change.
Yeah.
And Dean, you're pretty new to the league as well, mate. So welcome.
Yes, I am. I'm an Australian, usually involved in many other leagues, of course, they're different time zones and things like that. But it's good to be a part of a fantastic Australian league that I just found out the other day, because I have some friends that race in this league. So shout out to them too if they're listening.
Well, good to have you both along, and looking forward to not having to talk to myself for the evening. It's a welcome change, to say the least.
Yeah.
Look, we are back again. This is round 3 of this 6-round series, so we're getting pretty close to the halfway point. We'll talk about the race conditions in just a second. Unfortunately, still having some issues with our broadcast in terms of the championship standings, but let's just have a quick chat about where that's all sitting at the moment. We've still got a 2-way tie for P1 between Mitch Curry and Alex Court. We saw incredible racing from them in round 1. Again, really solid laps from both of them in round 2. Hoping to see some more from them tonight. Look, I mean, obviously, Hayden, you're a bit more familiar with these drivers and what you've seen from them than probably Dean is by this point. Who are you looking forward to seeing tonight out there?
Quite honestly, I'd say Mitch. He's the one I usually gun for anytime I'm racing. It's just, if I can get close to Mitch, then I'm successful. So
yeah, nice. And look, he certainly earned that top spot, right? So it says a lot about his ability in these 86s. Dean, who have you got in tonight? Who is it that you'd usually be watching anyway, and who are you cheering for?
My boys that I know out there would probably be upset if I didn't know. Of course, I'd
exactly.
Ollie. We call him Ollie.
Ollie Robson. Ollie Robson.
Yes,
yeah, he's had a good showing. Good. Yeah, sitting in P3 at the moment, 185 points, so he's not far behind the tied lead on 199, so he's still in it. There's still 3 rounds after this one. So yeah, look, anything's possible, right?
These guys are the kings of Bathurst, my friend. They'll be doing the Bathurst 1000 later on the season with a team, and they've got a good engineership behind them, which is called Jonathan Monday out there. I don't know if you've heard of him, but if he's listening, whatever. He is an engineer for many of the Australian racing teams.
Yeah, nice.
Practically anything to get your hands on has 4 wheels. So,
well, look, and the Bathurst 1000, we're basically doing the same thing by doing a Bathurst round here with the 86s later as well. It's essentially the same thing as a Bathurst 1000, right? More or less.
Yeah, of course. A little slower, but yeah, absolutely.
A little shorter, but it's more or less the same thing. All right, gents, let's talk about Oran Park and our conditions tonight. Let's cover off the conditions first. Beautiful air temp, beautiful track temp, perfectly dry conditions. A few clouds hanging around, so we'll keep an eye on that. But all in all, couldn't ask for anything different from the track conditions. Your opinion on Oran Park? Personally, my least favourite track on the service.
Oh, yeah. It really depends on what you drive around here. I mean, the Fords and the Vs, I hate them around here, but if you get an 8.6 or something with some sort of suspension that can handle it, it flows nicely. It's difficult to keep your grip if you're pushing really hard, so I expect to see a lot of rear end trying to step out on you while you're chasing someone. But other than that, not my most favorite, but it's an okay. It's an okay.
It could be worse, right?
It could be worse.
My what I'm looking forward to tonight, I really want to see someone go over the edge on Recaro corner, that last corner. that edge on that inside corner is just horrific. But geez, it's going to be fun to watch if it happens.
Oh, there's also the edge that's on the corner that just before you go over the bridge. Of course, it's a figure 8. Not many figure 8 tracks there are these days, but you get
through Champion Curve there and into the 5th. I cannot for the life of me get that corner right. I just can't do it.
Oh, it's because it's blind.
Yeah,
You usually are guessing. All right. Here's the best I can do with.
It's pretty
the
horrible.
car.
It's pretty horrible in short, and I'm very happy to be in the booth rather than out on track tonight. So
I have to agree with you.
yeah, that'll work for me. That'll work for me. Look, for those who are joining us tonight for the first time, great to have you along. We're enjoying another series from MC Motorsport, obviously complementing our Monday night Super Formula Lights championship that's going on. A quick little reminder on how we run the Toyota 86 Cup. So 2 races tonight, qualifying due to finish in just a little over 2 minutes time, and we'll have a look at the grid then. But we open up with a 20-minute sprint race, which is, always good fun with these guys. Always push the absolute limit through that sprint. And then a quick break between, and we go straight into a 30-minute with an entire reverse grid, which is unique to our Toyota 86 Cup, and certainly makes for some very exciting overtaking opportunities. Oran Park, not exactly flush with opportunities to overtake as it is. And we're talking about a pretty full field of Toyota 86s that don't exactly have the power out of corners. It's all about the momentum that you carry through. So trying to watch the winners from race 1 make their way back up through race 2 always makes for some fun moments here on camera. So look, from our perspective as a broadcast crew, I think you've got to be pretty happy with that, even if the races might not be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how these guys take this track, because you can get really aggressive on the curves, but they bite back. So it's a lot of risk and reward on certain turns, because you can gain 3/10 just from hitting a curb hard or spinning out.
Can't wait to see it. I love watching racing at Oran Park. I'm not going to lie. It is a fun track to watch, but it's just horrible to drive, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
That's. Well, as myself, as a non-driver, I was speaking to you before in the green room, and people that do know me as a commentator, I've never driven a car a lap at all. Any of them that I own in iRacing, which is practically everything. I just enjoy watching everybody else drive them, and they have the fun. And that's why when you have those tracks like this one, and in particular, a lot of drivers don't like it. It's because it is a technical and difficult track for us. Like up in the cozy air-conditioned broadcast booth watching it, it's fantastic because it brings some exciting racing
And some off-roading.
upside down cars off-roading. Of course, you'll see it all.
Yeah.
And definitely some door banging for sure, isn't it, to get some overtakes done. Speaking of
100%.
which, where are you guys generally expecting? And as well as to the audience out there, please let us know your opinions on this track and what you think. But your general overtaking places?
Ooh,
I mean, that's assuming that I'm good enough to overtake, to be fair. So I appreciate the vote of confidence. Where I usually get overtaken is through Foster's Dip, turn 7 and 8. I can't get the lines right through there, and I lose too much pace.
Yeah, it really depends on how aggressive some of these drivers are. You can take the sweeper and force someone wide and try and take a position from them, but you're really hoping that 7, 8, 9 becomes painful for them. So you're just hoping for screwing up a corner so on the straight you can get it back.
The way to go. As we take a look, qualifying is now completed, folks. So let's take a quick look at the grid. And heading up the grid this evening, Ben Faulkner takes podium. He's not there yet. Come on, Jared. Takes pole position. P1 right alongside Craig Edwards, who had a really good showing in the Super Formula Lights earlier on in the week. Doug Gowans and Alex Cord on the second row, followed by Shane Ratcliffe and Luke Newing. We take a look a little further back down the grid. Tom Williams and Oliver Robson. There's your boy Ollie in 8th there, Dean. Followed closely by yours, Hayden. Mitch Curry in 9th, and Cameron Hardwick rounding out the top 10. Ryan Parr from ADHD. He promised another great livery tonight, and my God, that is something. So looking forward to seeing that a little further on. James Bunker as well in the other ADHD Racing team entry in P12. Followed by Adrian Gresh, Jamie Nankervis, Luke Hayden, Cruz Mason, Brian East in his slightly slow racing mobile alongside Ronald Long. Then Nathan Bowman finding himself down the back alongside Josh Harris, Scott Lefebvre, Charlie Milliken and Rory Collins rounding out the entries for this evening. As we get ready to go racing, we'll try and keep an eye on these guys and just see who it is that gets away first. But looks like it'll be a reasonably good field for this evening. You know, haven't got the full complement, but 23 cars on track. Oran Park, nice and tight. How far through do you think we're getting here, gents, before we actually do hit the first the first safety car, let's say?
I'll give it 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
And look, in a Toyota 86, we're probably talking about what, turn 3 by the time they hit 2 minutes. They're not the quickest. We know that, but let's see how we go. We've got the lights, and we're green. We're away, and nice clean start. I keep forgetting how slow these things are off the line, and so we're going to end up 4 or 5 wide as we come down to turn 1. The ADHD boys, though, looking to make a move up through the pack very quickly.
And in the back here, we see Mitch Curry actually got 4 positions off the start, and he's looking actually to hold his position right now and keep going.
That's a bloody good
Slowly
start.
losing out with his
He's on the
rear
outside,
end
though.
there.
Yeah, he's got to watch it on the outside of that turn, but he does set up nicely for the next.
Yeah, challenge for the lead at the moment too, as as Dougie absolutely bogged down offline. The 88 machines dropped 6 places back in P9.
Back 6 places off the start. It doesn't take much to lose that in these 86s. But we see Ben Faulkner, Craig Edwards immediately opening up a pretty significant gap as we get to not even halfway through lap 1, and they find themselves starting to head out towards a good couple of seconds over P3. So these guys are going to have to watch it. Alex Court, usually a lot quicker than this. I'd expect him to be closing that down a little earlier.
Yeah, and I think he's being held back by Newing right now, trying to see if he can get past, maybe sneak in through a corner, trying to, get into his mentality and stuff like that. But right now, he's kind of being held back.
Yeah, Newing definitely, for sure, as you'd mentioned.
Well, that's Cameron Hardwick's just gone around, and it's claimed its first victim. It didn't take long. It's kind of what we're expecting, I think, at that corner there. We'll take a quick look back and see if we can catch it on the replay.
I think, like I said, being aggressive on these turns, I think he just lost it on.
There he is. He's hung over the inside edge. I told you that inside edge was going to get someone. I didn't expect it to be quite so soon, though. But we'll take that. So now he's got a bit of work to do to catch up as we take a look back here. Alex Court's made his way past.
Yes, he did. He got past Luke, who can't keep with those leaders at the moment. I think the rest of the field realise at the moment, hey, number 1 and number 2, that's the 2 and the 28 machine, are getting away with this one. We've got to get a move on to catch them. They're about 2 seconds and change up the road already. Which
in a Toyota 86, that's a bloody long way. Let's
I
just
mean,
point that out.
The qualifying results, and Faulkner actually went wide a little bit, as I just saw that. But their qualifying time was ridiculously fast compared to the rest of the grid, and the rest of the grid is really tiny, so it's going to be working together to get those front two.
A lot of work left to do to catch them here, because a 3-second gap is not easy to pull back in a Toyota 86. So let's see what Alex Court can do as we make our way through. Nice and clean so far, though. I'll give him credit for that.
There's a big run at the moment into turn 1, with 3 cars back. It's 12th, 13th, and 14th. They've actually eased out and decided to go on a racing line on that one. Then again, who's setting it up on the inside there? I think that's Scott at the moment. Just making that. That's back in 15th place.
Got a nice little second pack back there, and we might just take a quick look and see how they're doing. Nathan Bowman leading them out in what I initially thought was a Castrol livery. It's not. It's the Jim Stroll livery. Don't know what to say about that. Ryan Palmer,
Ryan.
One of the ADHD boys. You can't miss him with that livery. We always see you, Ryan, when this happens. Let's just go back and quickly check what's happened there.
It's like the confetti out of Claudia for Chance of Meatballs too.
Right? Yeah. It's something. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a bit of contact there, and that's put him into the wall, and that's a really awkward spot to end up as well. 2 wheels, essentially. So lucky to get out of there as quickly as he has. As he now finds himself much further back down the field as a result. Let's jump forward to Doug Gowans leading out a pack of a few here.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at Jaden Radcliffe right now, right on the right in the back of Newing, trying to see if he can force him into a mistake. But there's also guys behind him, a little bit of contact.
Bit of contact. Everyone's managed to hold it together though, so that's good to see. Mitch Curry staying out of it.
Yeah, everybody's getting a little bit personal. Let's see seeing if Radcliffe
Rubbing
will
is
make
racing, as they say, gentlemen. Got to get
Absolutely.
your elbows out.
and he backs
Absolutely.
out of that really aggressively, which is going to open the door for Robson behind. I think he's going to actually go for a move into this turn.
That's a choice. Overtaking on the inside there.
Oh my gosh! Wow, some tight racing right there.
I think good choice from Ratcliffe to back out there. That's
100%.
I don't want to be side by side with anyone through there.
You want to live another day rather than crash out.
Right, using all the track there though.
Yeah,
a
lot of drivers have been caught out through that, just trying to get as much time as they can. These 8.6s can actually take some of these curves really aggressively and go on two wheels even to stay alive.
A few little wall taps there as well.
A few little wall taps as Curry's actually making a move on Radcliffe now as well. He has been making progress. He's in 7th and possibly going up to 6th if he can make this move stick.
Let's keep a close eye on this, and he's got the line. He's going to be lucky not to hold this.
And Radcliffe makes a mistake in the back.
Good save though. Good save. Give him credit for that. He's held it together.
100%.
Let's go
three abreast in the background as well.
Oh, come on, boys. Sort it out before the corner, please. Ratcliffe not wanting to drop any more positions there.
100%. And I think it's just the sometimes the brake bias with this car means that if you slam on the brakes, that rear loves to just get trigger happy with you.
Got to bring Cruz Mason into play as well too, and James Bunker. These gentlemen have to realise there's still 15 minutes left of this first sprint race.
Yeah, and there's already tight racing everywhere. There's groups forming. People are, playing along. Some being a little more aggressive than others, but so far it's been ridiculously close in some aspects. A lot of drivers are taking the final turns really wide, using all the track, not just some of the curb, but even some of the grass, just to get that advantage.
This is one of the things I love about the 86, though, right, gents, is that because they are objectively a pretty slow car, the racing ends up being so much closer as a result, and it makes for great watching.
It's
I have to tell
100%.
the top two that, because it's starting to build a 4-second gap. But I tell you what, Ben started putting some banker laps in, but he's backed off a little bit. Craig Edwards in P2, slowly pulling him back in, keeping him in check and keeping him honest. And that's what you want to do as a race driver too, don't you? You want to fill their mirrors full of your car and force him to mistake.
It's all about the pressure, as we see Nathan Bowman put that on and make his move past Adrian Gresh, makes it stick through the first couple of turns there and puts himself back up into P12.
100%. And that group of 3 there, 4 now, there he is, trying to see if I can find him, is sticking together and they're fighting for position. So they're clearly trying to get, either out of that group and keep going or trying to figure out where they sit in the position-wise. But they are really
Gresh and Lefebvre right alongside each other again. This section of the track, I know I said before, this is where I lose all my spots. And there he goes. That's Gresh turned around.
There we go.
He's managed to pull it up, though.
You should save it from the fence, exactly. He's got to reverse it. Beep, 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 beep. That's so really annoying.
It's all fine. It's all fine. We'll take a look here as they come past. This is Cameron Hardwick and Ronald Long just trading positions there. Another velocity entry. Around the outside. Wow, where did he find that extra grip?
He barely made it in front of his front bumper there. It was
Cameron
incredible.
Hardwick. Bloody hell. Brian East, meanwhile, makes a move through as well. I think Ronald Long's just sitting there in the cabin wondering what the heck has just happened to be passed at such a rate of knots around the outside of that corner. Unreal. Well done, Cameron Hardwick. We'll take a look a little further forward, just see how Nathan Bowman's faring with a couple of cars, Lefebvre and Hyde, still stuck to his rear bumper. We'll just call out for you, gents. Race Control have confirmed they are investigating that earlier incident that saw Ryan Palmer turned around. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if anything comes of it for the other driver involved.
I'll tell you what, though. This battle that we are seeing right now is getting to a point where it could come to the straight. Bowman is actually getting his mirrors filled behind. And it looks like it could be this lap or the next where he's going to get overtaken.
Faber's just having a little look up the outside, and he'll have a look up the inside here as they look for the exit. He's going to have the line. Can he hold it? He's going to push.
Hold it.
Pushes Bowman wide. You know what? Clean, smart racing. Nathan Bowman doesn't want to end up in the wall there. The only advantage of the wall there.
You might want to check out what happened.
Ollie Robson, what's just happened?
He's been contacted with. I think he got tagged back there.
Yeah, what's happened there? Let's go back and take a quick look.
Turn 1, I think, because he was making a run down in turn 1.
All right, give us a tick, and we'll go back and have a look at that for you as well. side by side down the front. That's up alongside the 170 entry of Luke Newing, and Newing's just turned right into the back of him by the look of it.
He's lost it. Yeah, he got out into the grass there in the rear left, the rear right slipped and turned Ollie.
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about earlier. When we were talking about being aggressive on this, is either you lose the car or you take the bump super aggressively.
Yeah, not much in between, really, is there? As we look
not
at
at
Craig Edwards in the Cadbury Dairy Milk machine, doing everything he can for real Ben Faulkner back in. But that gap now to Alex Court, we know Alex Court's quick, but my goodness, 5 seconds plus off the back of Craig Edwards to P3.
Yeah.
And we're only 10 minutes in.
Yeah. He's got to perform an Oscar right now and hold off this field behind him.
So we take a look. Here's Newing. Curry's making the move on Luke Newing, sorry.
And that was a really, really good move. Here comes Ratcliffe in the back between them. No contact there, but very close to rubbing wheels.
Not to mention Doug Gowan's right behind. That's another velocity entry as well. So a little bit of teamwork here, putting the pressure on Luke Newing, perhaps.
100%. Radcliffe is looking really aggressive to try and get some. Might want to have to stick with him for a bit, try to find the weaknesses of certain turns rather than going through each turn, but he's doing a really good job at keeping the pressure on.
Ollie Robson's just going to the pit road as well too. It was very short. I think it was a drive-through, something along the line of the because he didn't even stop unless it was a super quick stop for a fast repair. Back out, but not fast.
Yeah, it does look like a drive-through, and that I'm not sure where that's come from. It's certainly not a race control imposed one, so we might try and figure that out a little later on, I suppose. So we see Mitch Curry leading him out. This is the battle for P4, ladies and gents. Curry out in front, but Newing has his eyes squarely on that rear bumper of Mitch Curry, while also keeping an eye out the back for Shane Ratcliffe and Doug Gowans, the Velocity Sim Sports entries there. As Newing gets very loose, and it's contact, big contact. That's Doug Gowans and Luke Newing coming together there.
Yeah, they're still door bagging further up the road, so you can clearly see that Newing just, day late, dollar short in the corner. Too much speed carrying in there, just lost the rear end. Unfortunately, he's taken out some of his victims. That car's looking pretty dinged up at the moment. The man's still putting the pedal to the metal.
Look, what's a few bumps on an 86 anyway, right? As we take it. Yeah, exactly. It'll buff out. It's fine. It's fine. Let's take a quick look back at that from the chopper as well, and just see where Luke Newing's got it all wrong here. He's just ended up out in the grass and just couldn't.
Yeah,
I do apologise. He didn't go too hot in the corner. No,
it just went too wide. But looked like he might have had a bit of contact just after that as well.
Speaking a bit of an
action with Scotty and Luke battling back in 12 and 13 side by side. Still, as you got pictures on. Once again, it does remind me, doesn't it, of rally livery?
Yeah, it's you got to love it. You got to love it. It's a classic Toyota livery. I'm not sure how I feel about the Castrol livery coming to the Mustangs. It seems a little out of place. Have you guys seen that yet?
No, I have not.
So V8 Supercars Mustang is going to be running a Castrol livery, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's just not right. It's not a Toyota.
All right, they've heard it. We'll get that officially changed there at the moment, Jared. So we'll put in a formal
thank you.
protest.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we'll just call out that initial incident with Ryan Palmer, where he got turned around. Doug Gowans has actually copped a 30-second time penalty for that contact. So a big hit to him, taking him even further back than his current P21. As Ollie Robson makes the move past him as well.
Yeah, and I think at that point, you try and just keep your mentality. You know, I've gotten stuck in positions, and I know you saw it when Portimao, where I was caught in last in race 1 and race 2. Brought it back to 9th. So you just got to keep yourself mentally in check for the rest of the time. Just try and keep yourself going.
And on top of it, you've got to remember too, gentlemen, you've got a reverse grid for the feature race. So hanging at the back is not too bad because you're going to be starting good position for the next.
You got a shot. You got a shot at it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, what's a few blocking? Just block them up.
That's Ryan Palmer.
He's been in the wars, hasn't he, this evening?
He has, but he's got no one to blame but himself for that one. As we see his teammate Josh Harris getting overtaken just through that corner. What's going on there? Cameron Hardwick's gone to the pits rather unexpectedly, and it's forced some evasive action there from Josh Harris. But it brings the ADHD boys together. And just behind them, Brian East, Jamie Nankervis going side by side into turn 1. Top speed through there. Lots of racing room, and Nankervis backs it out. Good choice there. There's just not enough room to go side by side through that corner unless you're really confident.
Yeah, 100%. Going back to the ADHD boys, I have to give them credit for their enthusiasm to try and overtake. They're aggressive, but they're really good at putting the pressure on. Sometimes just a tad bit too much. But now that they're kind of linked together, you can't really separate the confetti now, can you?
You really can't. They're basically one car on my screen, as far as I'm concerned. It's a hell of a livery, and as always, they do deliver. We've seen the Sesame Street livery, we've seen the Hello Kitty livery, and we're here with. I don't even know what we're going to call this.
We haven't seen a Bunnings Snag livery yet.
We haven't. You're right. There is still opportunity for them to go one better. So you heard it here.
Livery. Come on, we can get very Australian here.
We've still got 3 rounds. They've still got plenty of time. I have faith in them. They're dedicated, as we see Nankervis just tapping the wall out of that final corner. You've really got to nail the line coming onto the main straight, or you do end up losing a whole lot of speed from a touch there.
They're going side by side.
Yeah, Jared's got to remember too as well. Too. He didn't touch the wall touched him.
Oh, that's it, is it? Right. Brian East up the inside. Look at him go.
What a bomb.
Brian East making the moves, gets in between the confetti cars. I'll tell you what, that's
celebrating the confetti over there, Carl's exactly with that move. He's going to get another one here as well too.
Yeah, Ryan Palmer just goes too wide, can't keep it off the curb, and that's gifted Brian East a nice clear run, and he's now leading this pack out.
And it's Battle Confetti's behind.
Ooh, Battle Confetti's getting really close too. I don't know what you call being in between the confetti sandwich, or just,
I feel like there's a particular term as we see Josh Harris just doing everything he can to hold off Jamie Nankervis, but I think he's being outdriven here.
And further up, there's battles, of course, 7th and 8th as well too, going down turn 1.
Yeah, we'll have a look up there. Here we go. We've got Cruz Mason, Luke Newing side by side into turn 2. There's not many passing opportunities, so you've got to make the most of them, but geez, I get nervous about that one every time.
Well, and this corner coming up right now is a very deceiving one. It looks tight, but you actually have a lot more room to work with, so it's going to be interesting to see how they work together. It looks like they're playing nice. They're just, being side by side as close as they can. Upcoming turn, though, is going to be interesting if they back out or not.
There's a really nasty bump on the inside of that curve just after the bridge there. If you're not watching, it'll catch you out in a big way. So I wouldn't feel comfortable going side by side with anyone through there just in case.
100%. And looking back on the Confetti boys, they are still on Brian East, but they are still going at each other. There is no inch being given to either one of these drivers, even teammates.
I'm pretty sure the ADHD boys' approach to this is fairly simple. They have to be right up against each other because it's how they get the most aero benefit. I reckon that's got to be the choice.
Newing's going to the pit road.
Newing's pitting. Okay,
yeah,
interesting. With 2 minutes to go.
Yep. And Harris just spun out as I was.
He's looking for a good reverse grid position, so he's willing to sacrifice his grip.
That's what it is, right? It's strategy. It's strategy.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Teammates are thinking right there.
Absolutely, as we see Cruz Mason just flashing the lights down the main straight at Tom Williams just to let him know he's on the way. We'll take a quick look back at Josh Harris's incident there while we've got a moment.
What I saw looked like
he's just dipped the wheels into the grass, and very lucky to get through both of those cars without making contact. Wow, that was close. All's well that ends well, though, as we keep our eyes here on the battle for P6. Tom Williams looking to keep Cruz Mason at bay. We'll take a look just a little further up the road, and Mitch Curry now has Shane Ratcliffe all over him again.
Come on, Curry, I know you can do it.
Curry's sort of pretty much, apart from Scotty for the 966 machine at P9, he's got 5 positions going for Mitch Curry, so if he can hold on to this one, a nice P4 will do it well.
This guy's really consistent once he gets into a rhythm, so it's going to be interesting to see how Radcliffe's going to try and disrupt that kind of flow that he's in.
And we've got some chatters out there. Hello, Paul Saunders before. He said, good luck, guys. There we go. We got Smashing Apex. Phew, super close racing. And Ed out there as well, too. Luke.
Yeah, and it's a good call there, Ed. And
we got a pen, thank you.
Catching up with a couple of these race control messages. So it was a stop-go penalty, 30 seconds for reckless driving, handed out to Newing. So not holding back race control. We did promise that there would be harsher penalties to encourage better driving. But,
and
but yeah,
a little
that's
further back, about 40 seconds ago, roughly. Ryan Palmer was on the edge of who was that? That was up there.
Oh yeah, he's come off track, hasn't he?
He just came off track.
taking a look at that one. Tell me it's the inside of Repco. Is it? No, there's contact there with Brian East. He's just driven into the back of Brian East.
Yeah, just barely a nudge.
But it was enough.
So this is Ben's to win, I'd say, at the moment. He's managed to hold off the attack from Craig. Craig's now about 2 seconds of change down the road, so as long as he makes a mistake, I mean, they won't be approaching any traffic anytime, so it actually will have one traffic cut to get past. It shouldn't be a problem for him, because this should be the last lap, gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. We are on the final lap, and Ben Faulkner, as long as he can hold it together around the rest of this Oran Park circuit, looks set to collect some tidy points here in race one.
Hayden, you know that for a fact too, wouldn't you? It's a bit scary, isn't it, when you're approaching a lap car that you're in the lead and you're just like, please don't do anything wrong at this point.
Oh, we don't talk about the small 24-hour when you get blue flags in front of an entire group.
And Faulkner running very wide there. Oh, he's managed to pull it back on track.
Oh, and they got another car on the road too. This could be dangerous. Oof, Ben's just got to sit back at the moment. I would just, he's got a gap.
Just take a breath. You just got to make it there, mate. You just got to make it there.
Yeah, you just got to live.
As he goes to the inside and takes the checkered flag. Well done, Mr. Faulkner. P1 in race one of round 3. As we see Craig Edwards finishing almost a full second and a half behind. The gap here to P3, though, Alex Court couldn't close it up any further. So, look, not his best night tonight. He's usually the quickest on track in these 86s. So maybe just a little off his game around Oran Park.
100%. When you look into fourth place, Mitch Curry from 9th to 4th gained 5 positions.
Huge drive. Yeah, it's going to set him back for the reverse grid, but you can't complain with those sort of points. So we see Cruz Mason and Tom Williams taking it all the way to the line. Now Nankervis and Gresh still going at it back here for P13. The race continues.
Race is still on. It's going to be a drag strip. Oh, and a little bit of a bump at the wall. Let's see if he can...
It's worth a shot, but I don't think he's going to get there. And then we've got side-by-side Rory Collins making his move. Can he get Doug Gowans for P16? Can he hold off this fast-finishing Doug Gowans? Oh, he's managed to do it. Has he? 0.04. Rory Collins holds P16. God, that was a close finish.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
Going from 23rd to 16 in a very tight finish with Gowans. That is incredible.
So this is how they finished race 1 of round 3 of the Toyota 86 Cup here with MC Motorsports. Ben Faulkner taking the win with a healthy gap back to Craig Edwards in P2. And then daylight, then P3, Alex Court coming through there ahead of Mitch Curry in P4 with the MC Motorsport entry. Shane Ratcliffe finishing out in 5th with James Bunker in the first of the ADHD Racing Team entries in P6. Cruz Mason, Tom Williams, Scott Lefebvre and Nathan Bowman rounding out the top 10. We take a look back further in the field. Luke Hayden in 11th with a bit of a gap there back to Brian East and Jamie Nankervis finishing fairly close together. Adrian Gresh, Ollie Robson unfortunately ending up back in 15th, so he's hoping the reverse grid helps him out. Then Rory Collins, just look at that gap. Rory Collins, 0.04 over Doug Gowans. What a finish for those guys. I'd love to see some close finishes further back in the field. That's fantastic. Josh Harris, the other ADHD racing entry, back in P18, then Cam Hardwick in 19th. Ryan Palmer ended up a lap down after some rough incidents there, you'd have to say. And then our field rounded out Ronald Long, Luke Newing and Charlie Milliken finishing up there. And Charlie Milliken, look... a long way back. I actually suspect that might be part of our race control entry. I don't think we saw him on track at all, did we?
I don't think we...
No. Rory Collins did not... was it Roy? No.
Charlie Milliken.
Yes. Charlie, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, all good. So, Dean, your first night with MC Motorsport, watching a Toyota 86 race. How are you feeling about the league so far, my friend?
The driving like it's 1986, isn't it? Absolutely, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's good. We'll see if we get these drivers going to bring it. Ben's going to slice his way through the field now. Well, that's going to be interesting to watch. He clearly has the pace, as well as Craig Edwards following him. That's going to be interesting to see those two. navigate through the field. They're going to have to sit there and pray that there's not going to be a big wreck. It was very, I'd have to say, very gentlemanlike, wasn't it, for the first race? We didn't have that many major pileups in the first lap or
Yeah.
so. So
These guys are very,
yeah.
very close and respectful when it comes to space. There are some times where it's just, one too much. A lot of guys will admit their mistakes when they do something. It's a lot of very close racing, especially in the Super Formula Series where you're so close with drag and everything.
Not wrong. And look, the other thing that's important to note is that there is a really heavy focus in our driver briefings here at MC Motorsport on actually redressing if you do make a mistake that gains your position through causing an issue for another driver. And when you have a look at the sort of penalties that do get handed out if you don't redress it, it's absolutely worth doing. Simply because we saw Luke Newing there caused a couple of incidents on turn 2 in lap 8 and lap 10, and he's landed with a 30-second stop-go penalty as a result. So that effectively ends your night. As we say hello to Ben Faulkner, the winner from race 1. Ben, well done, mate. What a drive.
Thanks, boys.
How does that feel to get out in front and put such a gap on P3? The two of you up front just had daylight and nothing but clean air.
Yeah, it was good. I'm usually used to driving these cars with one of my setups, so it was good to jump in and get on the fixed stock. Craig's got really good pace. So I think third or fourth got not as good start as us. I didn't have a great start myself, but then after that I think we just sort of managed to pull away and tow each other away. So it was pretty clean, and until the end there, it was pretty quiet.
Yeah, quiet is an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben, I noticed that Luke was keeping you honest in the most of the race. I think he got the closest to be about half a second to him. Did you at any point feel that there was going to be a threat where you had to really get your elbows out and pull an Oscar to hold off Luke?
I mean, I would have liked to have a fight. I always like a good fight. But yeah, we're both pretty close on pace, so I think it was just managing that gap. I think I was only pulling away a tenth or two per lap towards the end once I got my groove back in. But yeah, I mean, in this second race, there's going to be a lot more battling, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah.
You got to battle your way through the field now, my friend, because you're starting from last.
You're keeping a close eye on that.
Confident for a race
sort
win
of
now
pace?
in the feature race? Sorry, go ahead.
I think I still can. We'll see how it goes. In other leagues, I managed to do it, so we'll see how we go. It is different though. I don't know a lot of drivers in here, so I have to see how they act with other cars. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good fun.
Stuff. Well, we'll let you go, Ben, because we're just about to get into race 2. So thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you out on track. We'll keep an eye on you from there. So that is Ben Faulkner, winner from race 1. He'll be getting back in the car now as we get into race 2. I can confirm, yes, the feature is full reverse grid from race 1. So Ben Faulkner will be starting all the way back in P23 as we take a look at the grid for race 2. And only a quick look as we get into this race pretty quickly. Charlie Milliken, Luke Newing up front with Long and Palmer, then Hardwick and Harris rounding out the top 3 rows. Gowans, Collins, Robson, Gresh, Nankervis and Brian East rounding out the top 12. Hayden, Bowman, Lefebvre, Williams, Mason and James Bunker through to P18. As we then take a look, Shane Ratcliffe, Mitch Curry, Alex Court, Craig Edwards and Ben Faulkner, the 5 to watch, all starting at the back of the pack in this full reverse grid second race. We've got a 30-minute one ahead of us here, guys. What's your pick? Is Faulkner going to make it back?
I mean, he has some ridiculous pace, but I haven't seen how he actually, battles. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all goes. You got to remember too, at the front of the pack, there's 2 ADHD teammates there that could try and hold up the pack for the rest of the guys in the back, which would be interesting to see if they actually try and do. The grid countdown, I believe, was increased.
We've just had a slight grid extension here. And look, that's probably on us here. We're sorry, guys. We've kept Ben Faulkner just a touch too long in the interview, and he's had to just to duck off to get reset to jump into his spot at the back of the grid. So apologies there to race control for delaying the start of this one just a little.
Oh, we're still waiting for Charlie as well too. He's currently lining up in pole position, so he should get in there and not miss that opportunity.
I'm reasonably sure that Charlie actually is ordinarily helping out with race control duty, so it's a bit odd that he's showing up on the grid tonight. iRacing's funny like that, though, isn't it? It's
and Doug as well too. So Grandpa, of course, is to get in. Come on, Grandpa.
Now I do wonder if Doug Gowans is perhaps starting from the pits there. Because of that 30-second time penalty that he copped in the first race. I'm not sure.
Yes, that would make sense, exactly, of course. So he won't be starting on, he'll have to wait for the timer to time him out so we can start from the pit road. You might be right.
Yeah,
of course. Nothing gets past you, my friend. You're sharp.
Oh, look, you know, the main thing is I've got the race control messaging sitting open in front of me, which helps to keep up with things, right?
Well, yeah, 100%. You know, Jared is on top of everything.
Yes,
all the
yes.
Time.
As long as there are no further follow-up questions, absolutely I am.
Yeah, as long as you don't ask him questions afterwards.
Get your predictions out there in the chat.
Race 2. We're under starters orders again. And we're away. We've got green flags, green lights, and these guys are off full reverse grids. So Luke Newing out in front, looking to get away as best he can in a Toyota 86. I have to give these guys a little bit of stick every time because, my God, they're slow off the line. But it doesn't take long for them to find the momentum. Luke Newing finding himself with some space out in front into turn 1. And here we go. Let's see what happens as everyone piles on through.
100%. As we were looking in the back for Ben Falker, he's being really, really cautious, really good at picking his spots, picking his battles really nicely. He's starting to slowly pick off the grid. I think it's 5 or 4 position that he's made up now, from what I can see.
Oliver's not. He's making a position gain as well too. Brian made a couple. So good. They're being gingerly at the moment. Here's another one of the further back, the confetti cars. Also making a bit of a run for the money there. There's a spinner. Oh, in the middle of the track, and that's going to be huge. That's a T-bone, and that's going to cause a massive wreck. This may be a caution, gentlemen. Maybe a caution.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what's happened here. I might have lost connection with
there's another car. Oh.
Some cars, I think I saw a connection issue with one of them, and just looks like the mystery.
Yeah, we got a full caution, gentlemen. That makes sense at the moment. We had at least 4 to 5 cars involved in a multi-car pole up there.
There it is, the safety car coming out.
Hayden, get in that get in that pace car, mate.
Yeah, honestly, mate, it's unbearable in the Super Formulas.
Let's go back and let's take a look and see if we can pick up what's happened here. We're watching Mitch Curry, and the chaos has already happened as he comes through, but they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in the background there. Oh, Mitch Curry just gets cut off by the Velocity car re-entering. That's the number 7 entry of... Who's in the 07 tonight? I think that paintwork's off.
It started, actually, I believe it started with Luke. I think Luke looked like he blinked or something like that, or maybe a little bit of a disconnection issue.
That's what I saw, at least.
And then all the cars are trying to navigate, of course, around a corner at that point, and they've got to predict where the car is at that point.
So there's Luke Hyden just blinked out in the background, but no, it's actually a bit further up.
He's a bit further up and then blinks back into existence. What I saw was like a mystery machine kind of like crash there, where
it was actually Ronald Long. Ronald Long was the first to go around. Let's just watch that again. So here's Ronald Long. I think he just gets a bit loose into this corner.
And also Luke tagged Tom Williams as well.
Oh, big hit. Ronald
Small
Long.
tags everywhere into a large pileup.
That's rough. That is rough, but what do you do?
Rough.
Hats off to race control calling a caution on that one, because it's out of whack. Cars are off the track everywhere, and everybody can get to settle down a little bit there.
100%.
Luke was one of the first ones to go off, and that was the linking issue as well. If you are aware, if you're watching for the first time out there, if your connection loses with the server, it kind of just disappears, and it's still the AI of iRacing will kind of just continue to try to determine your car's going to be, but of course on a road course like this, when you go around corners, it's very difficult. It's come back, it's collided with another car. 100%. None of Luke's fault, actually. You have to give it to him, because he probably was driving normally.
Yeah, and you just can't see it. You just come out of existence and go back in.
We just call out here, though, from the back of the grid, Ben Faulkner up into 7th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Made absolute advantage of that.
Could you show the replay of Ben during that moment?
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
yeah.
I would like to see how he navigated through that minefield.
Let's see if I can make that happen for us. Let's see how we go. So here's Ben Faulkner, back in amongst the pack. Here comes the chaos. There's Luke Hyden, blinks out of existence in front of, and then makes contact back there. How did Ben Faulkner make it through here? Oh, the road just cleared for him.
Oh, he's
wow.
Just
How's
made
that
it around.
light?
Wow.
That car was on the racing line too.
And there's Mitch Curry getting absolutely smashed just behind that. Well done, Ben Faulkner.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons I despise a safety car sometimes is right now, while I'm looking at it, I can see the speed of it, and it's consistently at 72 kilometers an hour, even on Spa, where it just stays at 80. Sometimes you really like the speed, and sometimes you really, really want to get on with it. So I'm guessing a lot of these drivers are going to be trying to just, regain their composure, try and figure out where they're sitting right now. Especially people like Ben, who's probably going to try and get more positions as he goes along. But you've got to be aware that the entire grid's now bunched back up. It's going to take only a lap or so for everybody else to get back to the leading lap. It appears.
Yeah, Jonathan out there. That's Jonathan in the chat. Hello, Jonathan. I was talking you up before. Our real-life engineer for motorsports, and he knows it. He says Palmer and Robinson in third. What else could go wrong?
Actually, Jonathan, I can tell you what can go wrong. I'd be really worried if I was Ollie Robson right now, because he's got Palmer in front and Josh Harris behind. He's in that confetti sandwich. I cannot think of a scarier place to be on a racetrack. And between
I'm
those
telling
two,
you, man, being in between a confetti sandwich is not fun.
I can imagine.
I also wanted to ask you, gentlemen, in this full feature race of 30 minutes, are there going to be scheduled pit stops?
There is not an enforced pit stop. So if you're good enough with your fuel saving, you can probably make it a full race without having to stop for fuel.
Yeah,
indeed, there shouldn't be any reason for these guys to have to stop for fuel in an 86.
I'm not 100% sure about the fuel. I can't remember on the 86. I know in the Super Formulas, because our fuel tank's reduced to half, we have to. But I'm not sure with the 86 guys. You could probably just keep it going. But that also
maybe Jonathan can let us know out there. I'm pretty sure he knows, actually. So you can let us know out there, Jono, if the driver's going to be able to capably make it to the end. Of course, now that we have a caution flag here too, that's going to eat away a bit of the clock.
Yeah, it can't hurt them, that's for sure. Just calling out Mindtamen in the chat. Can't remember a crowd this big at Oran Park, even for super trucks. Such is the draw of an MC Motorsport event, my friend. Yeah. That's just how popular this series is.
So we're popular than the track in real life.
Exactly. Look, it's a real shame that Oran Park doesn't exist anymore. As much as I hate it, what I hate more is the idea of us losing more racetracks around the country. So
you're a Queenslander, my friend. What's your favourite Queensland track?
Look, I actually have a bit of a soft spot for Morgan Park myself. I've punted a couple of cars around that in my time. A Lotus Elise at one point, and what else have I taken around that? I'm trying to remember what the other one was. But in any case, most of my actual real life track time has been on the back of a bike rather than in a car. And I can tell you what, Queensland Raceway pre-resurfacing is one of the scariest braking zones you'll ever get into on a motorbike. The ripples in that track just before turn 1 are horrific, or at least they were when I was last on it. So,
see, I was
see the pace car pulling in. We're green. We're away again.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say there's that confetti sandwich coming into play. It's going to be interesting because Josh Harris is going to try and see if he can get a move on Robinson if Palmer manages to hold him. I think he's going to.
I thought Robson had the run, but he's just pulled back in now. Who's this coming up the inside?
He's playing it safe. Oh, yes, there's a big gang of cars behind.
A big dive, Cruz Mason.
Yeah, that's when you have to get into the mentality of these drivers. Sometimes you got to figure out who the aggressive ones are. And Harris is right on the rear and loses the rear end just there. And Ben Palmer, I think, gets...
Brian East has been spun around. Luke Hyden's got into the back of him. Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate for Brian East. Finds himself all the way down the back of the pack after that one.
Out of the corner. He will be retaken by Ryan at the moment under big pressure from Cruz Mason. We had a spinner at the back earlier too from Adrian. But all focus at the business end, the top end of the time sheets here, and so far kind of so good, shall we say, for a race restart.
Yeah, just squiggle and losing the rear a little bit. I think everybody's going.
No, that's Nathan Bowman that's just gone off in a big way. He's out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh Oh, mate.
finds himself
That is
from, what was he, about P5 before that spin. Let's go back and
Yes.
take a quick look at what's just happened there.
must have lost the car going up the hill. I don't see any other way he'd be in the middle of the track from any other situation.
Is there a touch here? No, just gets on the grass and then off he goes. And you really do end up in no man's land once you come off the side of the track there at Oran Park.
As a marshal, what do you do with
And
that?
Ollie just got past Ryan Palmer as well to take to P2 position as Ryan was getting wiggly after heavy on the brakes. So
Take a look at this train though behind Alex Court. You've got Hayden, Lefebvre, Ratcliffe, Harris, Edwards, Curry, Nankervis and Bunker all effectively challenging for P6. They're all just backed up one behind each other. Especially here, Craig Edwards in the middle of Harris and Curry there. As Edwards hangs it wide to just try and get a better line and maybe put a bit of gap between himself and Curry. But all he's done is invite Curry to hang on for a little longer by the look of things.
100%. The front guys are still
and
very
Ben
close.
at the moment, speaking of our sprint race man, he's currently at the moment on the tailpipe of Ryan, and I think he should be able to think about getting into turn one here at the moment. Be very careful, but Ryan's been really loosey-goosey on the brakes.
100%. Definitely after that safety car, you've got cold tires. You're gonna get him back into like a certain temperature, warmed up, working well. But the top guys are definitely going for it. They're trying to fight each other for those positions. As you see Palmer take a little bit of a wider one. Faulkner try and take a little of these.
That's Hayden going wide in the background there. He's lost a few spots as well. Everyone's made it through though, so we're
Ben with the cut. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Palmer got a little bit loose. Ben kind of went through and just snagged that position. Now he's gonna hunt the front two guys.
just take another look at that because I want to make sure we capture that move. That was fantastic.
Did
Over under.
Undercut. Yep. Perfect.
Beautiful
He
move
knew
from
that was going to
Faulkner.
run wide with the speed carrying the corner, and that's just to show you the brilliance of some drivers' reaction times. Yeah, the IQ of drivers to read.
Yeah, and I know that with this track, it's a lot about confidence. You've got to know where you can hit the curve, where you can't. Otherwise, you're lost. There's a lot of, and that's.
Yeah, look, a lot of tire smoke, but everyone's managed to hold it together.
Yeah.
So
Ollie just put the fastest lap in it. He's putting massive pressure on Luke right now, so we may have a new leader going into turn one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting too. And they have to work in some way together, even if they're going to overtake each other. Because you don't want to have Ben right on your tail immediately after a half a second. Yeah,
Oh, he's going to lose it.
He's going to lose it. Oh, just
no, he's
barely
not.
retained it.
just going to
Wow.
keep an eye here. Cruz Mason was really threatening there. I was a little worried he's going to take Alex Cord out, but he's managed to hold it together. We'll jump back up front.
And Benjamin's now in this party as well, too. In fact, Ryan's joined this party. Four-way horse party here, all separated by tenths between them.
100%. They're going to get really, really aggressive with each other, trying to see if they
Oh,
can
he's
swing
blinked.
someone out. Trying to see Ryan
not
Palmer,
too
I know,
wide,
could
not
be
too wide.
aggressive. Not too wide, boys. Come
Don't
on.
do it. Oh, Ben Faulkner looking to go round the outside here of Ollie
I'd be
Robson.
surprised if he doesn't,
Jesus.
if these two go for it. Ben's wise old fox on that one. Ollie's got to get past Luke at the moment here. That's going to be compromising him because he knows Ben's quick. And Ben's, there's contact.
Oh.
There's some bumping, some grass touching. These guys are getting really on each other's case here. It's going to try and see if they can keep their composure. Don't try and, hit the curves. I know Ben in that section that we just went past was very confident through there, but he was very much on the back end trying to just keep himself paced, get on the straight, trying to see if he can make an overtake.
Have a look at the wall that Luke Newing and Ollie Robson have formed here to keep Ben Faulkner behind them.
100%.
So defensive, but alongside each other into turn two. Ben Faulkner, though, takes the opportunity, goes up the inside of Ollie Robson.
Here he goes, he's right on the bumper of that Newing.
Robson wants Newing out of the way. Feels like he's being held up. The lights flash. Oh,
Yeah, he's
Robson
lifted-
gets
Oh, it's barely
Save.
together. Wow,
He
what
hit.
a save.
He had the chicane, lost two wheels off the ground. They had to lift off big time there to save that one. Good save, but it's
The
been
outside
compromising.
of Newing. Faulkner's holding on to it so far, and I think Newing's going to back
Look
out
at
of
the
that.
grip. Look at the grip he's got in this car.
I'm
That's-
telling you, through this section, he's got amazing confidence. You can see going up this corner, Newing's going to struggle a little bit on the exit here, trying to dip his, go a little bit inside, while Faulkner is just taking all the track he possibly can. He knows where that grip is and where it doesn't lie. Some of these guys have been caught out from that.
I tell you what, I like to try and make sure we get some good coverage of the entire field here, but how can you look away from this top 7 now? Faulkner, Ewing, Robson, Palmer, Court, Mason, Ratcliffe, all within 3 seconds across that top 7, and just tenths between all of them. Look at this train coming down the main straight of Oran Park.
Drivers need some camera time. You need to be up into the top of the timesheets at the moment. Trust me, there'll be more to come later on. And let us know in the chat there. Oh, they got about 17, almost 20. Let's get to 20 there, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs. Get your cats and dogs watching if you have to. This is some
100%.
fantastic, exciting racing.
And with that train coming up, there's also another small train behind them that's also approaching. So they might not even be 7. They might be up to like 10 or something like that. It's going to catch up here.
He takes a big dive. Jeez, he got loose out of that last corner, and then in trying to hold on, almost takes Ollie Robson out. But Robson makes a definitive move and claims that P2 position for himself.
Ewing's just sliding a bunch. I think his tires are a bit hot. He's just losing a bit of that grip that he really needs in order to throw the car into these corners. I have to say, Palmer is being a lot smarter with this. He's on the tail. He's not being too aggressive. He's just waiting for someone to make a mistake, and I think that mistake may come from Ewing if he keeps pushing too hard.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, just watching him around these last couple of laps, I think Ewing is probably, he's got to recognise that he's just outpaced by some of these guys. There's Ben Faulkner, a 1:13.2, a new fastest lap there. So he is out in front and looking to extend that lead further.
I keep an eye on Shane Ratty because he's going to be rattling the tailpipe of Cruz Mason at the moment too, because he's got some serious speed. And if Knight doesn't get the job done, he's got Craig Edwards confused at Sim Racing just in his tailpipe as well. This is where you're going to throw a blanket over, and it's fully set on the inside. Shane goes door banging with Craig, and that's who's going to go into the next turn on that one. He's got the inside line for the Dairy Milk Machine. A little bit too wide. It's going to turn a good save there. Absolutely fantastic.
Just holds that together.
Shane. And then further up, of course, you've got a three-way horse battle at the moment here going on too with Brian Palmer, Luke, and Alex Court.
Palmer getting very loose there. Cruz Mason looking for a way through as well. He's got some pace. He had a few incidents earlier on, but he's certainly got some pace there. Now, we have just a bunch of race control messages here, so let me catch everybody up. This has all just come through from race control. So we've had that incident investigated. We have a time penalty for Craig Edwards of 30 seconds for his contact with Scott Lefebvre on lap 8. So that's happened in the background there.
He's about to overtake Cruz Mason as well too, so I'm not sure Cruz Mason's available. Go ahead.
We've then got a 60-second time penalty for Luke Hayden for 2 contacts. For a contact and then an unsafe rejoin as well on lap 7. So those guys copping some hefty penalties. Race control not mucking around. They want these driver standards to really be impeccable. So, race hard, but race clean, gentlemen.
Yeah, if gap car as well, too, that centre would say, but hey, you've got to go for it, yeah. So I don't think Cruz Mason's got that message yet, has he?
No, it doesn't look that way. So, look, Craig Edwards did cop a time penalty there, but yeah, he's certainly not slowing down, looking to make up as much of that time penalty as he can here in this bunch that just can't seem to get separated. Ratcliffe having a little bit of an issue sticking with them off the back now. Maybe just overcooked the tyres a little. Edwards looking for a way through on Cruz Mason, just threatening he might get the drive out of the corner here, and he's got the aero to hopefully pull him up alongside. So let's keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, 100%. As we see him go, Edwards on the inside of Mason. Let's see if he's going to try and force it.
Oh, sorry. There's also action up further up the road too, because Ryan Palmer's gone off as he was battling it out too with Alex Court. I think it was a little bit further Luke.
Rejoined and just found himself at the back of the pack again, though. So,
Palmer's doing so well holding on to that gag that comes behind him as well too.
Have a look at this. Josh Harris and Doug Gowan's going at it behind Mitch Curry as well. So these guys just battling it out between themselves for P10. Doug Gowans overcooks it. He's sitting in a dangerous spot there. Gets up and over the curb, thankfully out of the way. But that's going to see Nankervis come through, and probably Rory Collins as well around the outside by the time Gowans gets back up to pace. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the tracks as well where if you see an accident in front of you, it's really terrifying because there's a lot of blind hills. There's a lot of places that you don't really have a runoff except for, grass. So It's really, really terrifying to have it spin out.
I think the only thing worse than seeing a crash up ahead is being the one that's crashed up ahead and knowing that people can't see you. As we see
100%.
Craig Edwards making the move on Alex Court down the main straight as well.
And
What's
let's see if
also
you make-
amazing too is that the fact that the Ben, our sprint race runner, he's now almost 4 seconds up the road there from Ollie, just cruising on by himself. And that's a man that's done that challenge from last to first too. Just looks like it's taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, it's incredible pace from him that was seeing. I mean, you see Edwards and Court behind, really battling. You know, of course, Edwards got into that turn 1 move, but Court really wants to put pressure on him and try and force him into a mistake, hopefully get that position back.
Take a look from the gearbox of Craig Edwards and have a look at that train behind him. Alex Court lifting that inside front wheel through the corners, absolutely pushing the limits of the chassis. Whoa,
That
what
thing
a
never
shot.
touches the ground on this track, does it?
It really
Yeah,
doesn't.
One wheel off.
One wheel in the air at all
Not at all.
times around Oran Park.
Yeah, I mean, those perspectives too really can show how this can work for these cars as well. When I'm talking about the, you know, hitting the curb or losing it, because you're basically tilting that chassis sideways to try and get into a curb. So it's really, really impactful if you have good knowledge of the chassis, how it turns and everything like that.
Ryan Palmer's going to make a run for Shane. He's going to try to rattle Shane out of his cockpit on this one in turn 1.
Here we
Plus,
go,
yeah,
side
take
by
off
side.
See how Palmer does against Radcliffe.
He
Radcliffe
forced him
just
into the fence. Yeah, he
Radcliffe's
forced him onto
overcooked
the
it.
grass.
took it. Yeah, just took it a little too far. I guess he was looking too far ahead. Couldn't see the stand right next to him.
But here's
Just
Edwards setting up on
really
Ewing just ahead as well, trying to make
Yeah.
the pass around the outside. I think he's just cost himself time there, but can he make something of it as we get through this corner?
Yeah, and of course with Court losing that position to Edwards, Court really wants that back. I'm guessing it's going to take Edwards or Ewing to make a mistake in order for him to get that back and really capitalize on it. He's going to try and really look into the straight, try and get a better exit. Trying to be a little bit cautious to make sure he doesn't get caught up in anybody who's braking a little too hard or anything like that. They're right on each other.
You have to break the toe as well, too, which is difficult. Once you get that overtake and you're in lead there, you've got to just put in the qualifying laps to get rid of the scale cars behind you. It's not easy. Well,
Oh, not at all.
easier said than done. But
Yeah,
of
100%.
course, yeah,
Have
he's
a
got-
look
he's
down
got-
this main straight though here, gentlemen. We're focusing so hard on this battle for P3. Ben Faulkner off into the distance, opening up a 5.5 second gap on Ollie Robson in second.
His lap
Just
steps quicker than
phenomenal.
everybody else per lap at the moment, so he's got this one in the bag. If he doesn't make any mistakes, but he will have lap cars to deal with later on.
Oh, Alex Court so close to the corner of Craig Edwards there as
Right
he
on the rear
desperate
bumper.
looks for a way through. I think Edwards being forced to the outside here. Alex Court might have the inside run and pick this spot up, but he actually gets blocked out by Luke Ewing, which keeps Craig Edwards alive.
And then there's Mason behind who's also challenging Court as well. He kind of caught up in that while they've been battling. You know, when you battle, you lose, you know, so many valuable tenths. As he done so, Mason's caught up really nice. So now it's a four-way battle. It's like a 2v2 going on with Court and Mason, and then Ewing and Edwards trying to make sure that they, you know, in a sense, work together to try and overtake someone else. Mason goes a little bit wide there, but he's still making valuable time to try and get Court.
Looking a little bit further back here, Josh Harris and Mitch Curry going at it. Curry desperately looking for a way through as we see Doug Gowans sliding around just behind them. Curry's just, he was right on the bumper there for Harris for so long, but he's just, he's lost the momentum and now he's going to have to catch it back up as we come down the straight. But looking ahead, Craig Edwards now going around the outside, looking for a line on Luke Ewing down into turn 2 again. Here we go.
Oh, and here comes Mason behind again. He's just pressuring Court, trying to see if he can force him into making a mistake so he can take the position and possibly go after Edwards as well. But Court does not want to lose that position. He really wants to get that past Edwards.
There it is, there's contact.
There's
So Edwards into Ewing there.
And Mason capitalizes completely on it.
That's fantastic work from Mason, but he doesn't have the pace. He's now got Craig Edwards right on the bumper. Ewing up the inside now. I'd be interested to see there, and unfortunately we don't have race control radio.
Oh,
Ewing's
there's
around.
there.
Court's into
wins
him.
to Ewing.
Oh, and let's go back and have
no.
another look and see what's happened.
It looked like it was just not enough room and not enough visual on it. So going into there, trying to get
Just,
as wide as
look,
possible.
a little bit of net
barely.
code, but Ewing just going a bit too wide. I think he's brought that on himself a little, in my opinion.
Just barely too close.
So that changes the picture a little, but in all of that, Ryan Palmer has found his way onto the back of Alex Court, would you believe? Cruz Mason's still out in front, but now we've got a second pack just behind these guys. So Cruz Mason and Edwards still going at it for P3, but Alex Court, Ryan Palmer and Shane Ratcliffe all immediately behind, battling it out as well.
This is when you're to get the gloves off at the moment because we're approaching 25 minutes, about 5 minutes to go on our feature race. So if you're going to think about getting it done, now you've got a couple of laps at best.
There's contact there on Mason as well. Edwards just getting caught up in the rear bumper.
100%. Even behind them, it's just another train like we were talking about before. That train that was originally like a part of the 7 is now finally like in the fight, and it's becoming a boxing match almost to watch. Each of these guys are taking turns at each turn and just keep going at each other.
I tell you what, I reckon that the 86 Cup so far has provided some of the most exciting racing, if not the fastest racing, but some of the most exciting racing we've seen so far from MC Motorsport. Paul Saunders, you're not wrong. Ben Faulkner, 8-second gap now to P2.
Oh, he's already off. He's on the next track already.
Yeah, he's finished up with this round. He's doing
track.
practice laps on our round 4 track. It's insane.
Yeah, to mirror what Jared said, give us a thumbs up if you're actually enjoying this racing. I think it's fantastic. Side-by-side action in turn 1, Craig Edwards.
Oh, Mason's gone too wide.
Too wide.
He's not going to pull it up in time.
Yeah, a little bit of bumping, but it wasn't enough. I think Mason just couldn't hold it together after that tiny bit of bumping that was happening, and it just caught him off guard too much.
So Craig Edwards finally finds himself in some clean air, but he's not going to have the time to enjoy it because Alex Court will now be all over Edwards looking to get back in front with just over 4 minutes left in our time here.
100%, and even with that mistake, Mason's still right on the back of Radcliffe, so he's still in this train. He's just got to get those positions back and try and see if he can get towards Edwards, toward Court, towards Palmer and everybody like that, and just see if he can make it stick. He's got to keep himself back in control and just really stick to his apexes.
So the standings as we approach the dying laps of this second race of round 3, Ben Faulkner a commanding lead, out 8.5 seconds now in front of Ollie Robson, and then a further 6 seconds back to the group we're watching right now. The battle for P3, Craig Edwards, Alex Court, Ryan Palmer and Shane Ratcliffe all still in this, with Cruz Mason just hoping for a safety car or a mistake or something to bring him back into this.
Yeah, I don't even think a safety car would do it, because even with one lap, I think it'd be game over. I think it'd be lap not being done. You have maybe one lap left because of the rules for white flags, but I don't know if that'd be enough, especially on this track where it's very hard to overtake outside of straights or outside certain hard braking zones.
Some lap cars are allowed to overtake each other as well too. Let's not go back to those moments. But hey, they're not going to get lap cars anyway, because I apologise. I said that earlier because that's if it was green flag all the way. Because we had that caution, it's backed everybody up. So they're not even going to have that to deal with, and nothing Ben has to worry about. He's just going to see maybe the 16th place car down the main straight. It won't be too far away with 3 minutes and change.
Point of lapped cars, gentlemen, so I'll just call this out. Race Control's just issued a 30-second time penalty to number 65 Cameron Hardwick for ignoring blue flags, which in itself is not an issue, but that caused contact with James Bunker back on lap 12. So Race Control trying to catch up here, but just incidents happening all over the place that they're having to keep an eye on, and really trying to get these driver standards back into line a little. As the red mist descends, I think, at this point, with 2 minutes left to go. Craig Edwards just holding Alex Court off as best he can.
100%. I was looking back on that incident itself. It just looked like not enough room was given, and eventually spun him out. And that's under blue flag. That's a terrible thing to do. Even on a lead lap, you don't want to do that. But especially being blue flag, that penalty will be harsh on him.
Yeah, we'll just take another quick look. I think we might have that here. This is James Bunker. And sure enough, there we go. Bunker just gets spun around there by Cameron Hardwick. So fair enough too, I think.
still some good battles, of course, occurring on the track there around Bradley and Ryan Palmer and Alex Court there. That's a possible, potentially, even with Craig Edwards at the moment, P3. But as a podium position up for grabs there, little daylight dollar short dives that you could possibly do in the last couple of laps. And anybody going to go for that fastest lap? Ben currently has at the moment it's a 13.24. I'm just wondering if the other drivers like Ollie and anybody else by themselves, just absolutely book it and see if we can get to... I don't know if let us know if there's a point for the fastest lap, but why not take some pride away from Ben's double victory that's inevitably looking this way?
100%. Like, if you're looking for that lap, 10 seconds, man. Like, wow.
It's just not even close, is it? The pace that Ben Faulkner has here... we're going to have to load his car up with some added weight next round, I think, just to make it even remotely competitive.
Yeah, right. Inspect it.
As we hit 30 seconds to go. So we'll have a look ahead. This is Ben Faulkner coming around the final turn back onto the main straight, and I expect we may be seeing a white flag out here. There it is, the white flag out. So Ben Faulkner enters the final lap.
Jared, he also has enough time to pop in the pit lane or pop over and sign some autographs in the grandstands. Well,
he's not signed 1:13.1. He is not backing off.
He's saved. He was doing 2 to 3 tenths slower per laps before. He's just saved the best for. He's done a max. He's done a super max move on that one.
Well, he just wanted to show off a little bit,
I think so, yeah.
I can only imagine that as the fuel comes down, it's just getting faster and faster. But Ben Faulkner commanding drive all the way through. That safety car really helped him make progress early on. But from there, he's just absolutely torn away from the rest of the field.
It's a crazy time, too.
On a run to the gas right now. Oh. No. We won't do commentator curses on you, Ben. Sorry. You're good. You got it. Barney's got that flag waiting for you. It's checkered. It's all ready to go. All you need to do is see it.
We keep an eye on this here. Craig Edwards clinging to P3. I don't think Court, Palmer, Ratcliffe have got it in them to catch him at this point. But Ben Faulkner still tracking on pace for a very quick lap to finish it out. Here he comes. What a finish. Ben Faulkner, this race night has been 100% yours. Another checkered flag for Mr. Faulkner. Ollie Robson only just now coming onto the main straight, 11.5 seconds back. Just a phenomenal drive from both of those guys. Hats off to Ollie Robson. Craig Edwards has been nowhere close to him either. As we see, we take a look back here. Cruz Mason and Mitch Curry going side by side to the line. Mitch Curry's just lost that spot to Cruz Mason, and he's going to end up back in P8. What a finish.
100%.
I'm going to take this back just a little bit here because I'm pretty sure Mason got him on that last corner. Let's have a look. So Mason had the lead.
Yeah, you're right. He did the switcheroo, the exit speed there, and the sentinel.
Curry there, trying to send it around the outside, just slides it but can't get there.
Yeah, try them.
Good effort. Good effort though.
100%.
As we look to the results from Race 2, the Toyota 86 Cup, presented to you tonight by MC Motorsport. Ben Faulkner again out in front with daylight, more daylight, back to Ollie Robson in P2. Then Craig Edwards hangs on for P3 against the hard-charging Alex Court. Ryan Palmer manages to make it past Shane Ratcliffe and takes P5. Just an incredible battle between the three there behind Craig Edwards. Cruz Mason finishing up in P7 with Mitch Curry close behind. Doug Gowans and Josh Harris rounding out the top 10 for our race number 2. Jamie Nankovitz. Sorry, say again.
No, go ahead.
Jamie Nankovitz in P11, Rory Collins P12. Brian East from Slightly Slow Racing, definitely not living up to his team name again tonight. The P13 finish, not bad at all from him. Scott Lefebvre, Luke Newing and James Bunker round out the finishes on the lead lap. And then from there, Nathan Bowman, Cameron Hardwick, Luke Hayden all finding themselves further back. Adrian Gresh had a shocker, unfortunately, finishing back in P20. And rounded out by Tom Williams and Ronald Long after that early incident as well. As we bring Ben Faulkner back into the commentary box. Mr. Faulkner, would you like to leave some for the rest of the drivers tonight?
Hello, thanks boys. Sorry, I was just stopping the car. People are talking in the chat. Yeah, thanks boys. It was a good race. It's a bit hectic at the start there.
Just a little.
me and Craig were side by side for quite a while on the first lap. But yeah, big crash, and then safety car came out and saw I was in 7th, and yeah, I think I surprised myself.
100%. And that fastest lap, I did notice actually, as I look into Garage 61 here, that you actually hold the fastest lap on this track for a 12.8, and you managed to do a 13.1 on a fixed setup. That is some impressive lap times, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I did I've done some coaching here for some of the boys. I think Thomas Donahoe, who's not here tonight, but did some coaching for him at this track as well. So that's why I think I had that lap on there. But yeah, it was a really good race. I actually enjoyed it a lot. Race control was awesome. All the drivers were awesome, nice and clean, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
So Ben, the only question I have left for you here tonight is just how much weight are you going to let us add to the car next round to bring you back a little further in the field with everyone, mate?
I mean, Sandown is one of my best tracks in this car, so I don't know, go for it as much as you want.
Oh, the confidence bordering on arrogance is like what we like to hear from a racing driver. What a fantastic finish tonight from you, Mr. Faulkner. Go and enjoy it. Celebrate a good night for points here. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what you bring next week. Hopefully the others can stay within single-digit seconds of you, by the sound of things.
Yeah, Ben, just to let you know, too, I was just watching the replays back. I'm trying to count all the cars because there was a lot. I think he got about 14 positions gained on lap 1 of the feature race, if I'm not mistaken. 14 positions gained from Plot Blast. Before the first lap of the feature race. That is.
Yeah, I mean, the big crash helped a lot with that. I think I was up 6 or 7 positions.
Well, no, you got 6 cars before that crash even occurred.
Yeah, well, one of my positives is my race starts. And it's one thing I usually am the best at, and the rest comes second nature. But I do love a good race start, especially when it's all close. There's a bunch of cars together, and these cars as well, because they're so slow. It's really good that they're all really close together. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Well done again, Ben. We will let you go, mate. Good to see you up the front again, and yeah, looking forward to, I'm sure, talking to you again once or twice more, at least this season. A fantastic effort for you tonight. Winner of race 1 and race 2, Ben Faulkner. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, boys. Have a great night.
Well, gents, that's the end of our racing this evening here at Toyota 86 Cup, presented by MC Motorsport. What are your thoughts on that race? Anything you want to call out and have a look back on?
Not that I can really think of.
I think we caught most of the action there, but there was so much going on. That first lap crash was just insane. We'll go back and we'll just have another quick look at that, I think, while we've got a moment, because the number of cars involved here, from Ronald Long's turning around, and we'll just try and get this perhaps from our blimp cam to see if we can see just what's kind of. So Luke Heidenoff in the background there.
Yeah, Luke got tagged by the blinking car, I believe. That's what kind of caused that incident.
That's what initially started, and then
and then there's another one after that.
This madness.
You were talking about it, but
bang.
You were talking about before.
Oh, the carnage there. There's Luke Hyden just flipping back into existence and barely avoiding it. Oh man, what an unreal set of events to set off that first safety car.
You got to be at the right place at the right time. Some heavy hitters in that one involved, of course, unfortunately. But then again, somebody else's misfortune, somebody else's gain. In that case, we had the likes of, in this case, third place, Craig Edwards. He finished 19 positions up as well, too. So Ben did steal the spotlight, but also you have to think of Craig Edwards as well, too. He got a fantastic podium by getting 19. Alex Court, finished for the Quantum Motorsports team in P4, 17 positions gained. So, once again, taking advantage of the situation where it all goes pole-shaft early. Driving, and that's just driving on pace as well, too. Remember, they're putting in some solid out laps, and they were also in that firing zone a little earlier as well, too, when you saw that 5-6 horse race battle earlier on there.
Just
then
insane.
you talk about Palmer, who started 20th in the feature and managed to bring it back up to 5th. I mean, he got knocked out in that first race and then brought it immediately back up in that race too.
Yeah, he did. Yep. Exactly. Palmer as well,
Great
too.
series of results all around from some of these top guys, and it's amazing what can happen. You get one big incident like that, and it really changes the field drastically, doesn't it? You know, we talk about a
to win it, my
reverse.
friend.
Well, you do, right? And you know, we can throw all the usual cliches around, right? To finish first you have to finish, and that's certainly been the case there tonight with so many drivers taken out early as a result of that.
I'm loving the format, and let us know in the chat as well too. Like, I'm loving that full reverse. Not all leagues do a full reverse.
It's often top 5 or top 10, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can see clearly, as Ben had said before in the interviews that we had earlier after the sprint. He said, "Oh, you know, I've done it before. I've come back from last and won the race, and he can put this another one trophy on his cabinet and say he's done another last to first challenge." So.
Least he could do is make it look like it was an effort, though, right?
Well, if you go back on that one, I think when Oliver may have given a bit of a challenge, but the problem is Oliver couldn't quite get past that early car that they were battling with, of course, and then compromised to bring Ben back into play. And since Ben was unleashed like a racehorse at a Melbourne Cup track, that's it. He's gone. You know, he's out of the gate and he's unstoppable at that point. You just can't let Ben past. That's the key, isn't it?
No, and I'm wondering if perhaps the strategy next week is actually pit Ben early and hope that he can't recover from the damage. I think that might be the only hope some of these drivers have to keep him under control. But gents, look, it's been a pleasure. We head next week, September 26th. We'll be heading to Sandown, which honestly one of my favourite tracks. I'm a big fan of Sandown, so looking forward to seeing the 86s getting around there. But don't forget, before we get to Sandown with the 86s on Thursday night next week, we'll be back with the Super Formula Lights on Monday night, heading to Fuji, which is going to be... I fear it might be absolute carnage, that track. So make sure you do tune in on Monday night. Don't miss that. We'll be keeping an eye out for you, Hayden Kalnan, on track and hoping that you manage to make it through the mess.
In your gas tank.
Yeah. Mate, it's looking like being another great race. I will remind everyone as well, if you're into the GT3s and you enjoyed Season 1 of that, we're not far off. October 21st will be the start of Season 2 of the MC Motorsport GT3 series as well. So the racing keeps on coming here on MC Motorsport. Proudly brought to you each night by Simple Race Broadcasts. Really, gents, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here in the box with me. Looking forward to getting you back again soon and checking out some more of this racing together.
100%. Can't wait to be back here.
Lovely. Well,
Thank
look,
you very much for the privilege. I appreciate it very much.
Now, on behalf of Dean and Hayden, my name is Jared. You've been watching the MC Motorsports Toyota 86 Cup. We will see you again Monday night for Super Formula Lights. Until then, drive safe, follow that racing line, and we will see you all next week. Cheers.